audience. Heading back to school brings to mind shiny new notebooks, multicolored pens, the latest fall fashions, and some free time for parents. However, teachers, parents, and students have another concern: school violence. I am credible to give this speech because I have done an abundant amount of research. This brings to mind children running around with tear-streaked, chubby cheeks and yellow crime scene tape tied to the monkey bars. Schools are not intended to be like this. Schools are supposed to be a safe, fun, and healthy learning environment. But as the years have progressed and the millennium is upon us, school violence has continuously rocked the United States over and over again with no relent in sight. The sorrow of school violence has come a long way. School violence has reached epidemic proportions and is directly attributed to the constant eroding social structure. Through readings and research, psychologists, educators, and parents have argued movies, television programs, and video games give children the notion that violence is an acceptable solution to a complex problem. Others argue this erosion is caused by a flourishing social network and the breaking down of family structure. Most parents are too busy or just choose not to screen what their children play, watch, or listen to. Some parents don't understand that they are the sole role model in their children's early life. Whatever behavior the child sees, they copy, even if it is the likes of such people like Marilyn Manson or Jerry Springer. They are watched by millions of school-age children every day. Students hear the explicit lyrics and see the unacceptable behavior as an acceptable way of life. The kids then practice these actions and use these words. And keep in mind, the family structure also plays an important role in the disintegration of the social structure. Disengaged parents act cool and uninvolved in their child's life, more like a friend than a parent like the child yearns for. They do not nurture their children or care about their actions. They figure as long as the child isn't bothering them, the child is okay, when actually the opposite is true. The child feels unattached and turns to television, video games, social networks, and music for support. They find comfort in these hostile activities, and in return they practice these ways and become violent because that is what they are taught by what they have to learn from the media. No one is there telling them not to listen, watch, or not reprimanding their actions. In this case, they continue to act in a violent manner. When there is a cause, there is an effect. The effects of school violence in the media and disengaged parents are the said tragedies of Columbine and other public outbursts of rage from these children or young adults. Most recently, in the news during a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises, a gunman opened fire on a crowded theater. At least 12 people were killed and 58 more were wounded. The suspect, James Holmes, set off a smoke device in front of the theater before opening fire. Directly after the incident, Holmes, age 24, was arrested in the parking lot behind the theater stating, "I am the Joker," a character on a previous Dark Knight movie. On April 20th, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold opened fire at their high school in Littleton, Colorado, injuring 24 and killing 11 students and 2 teachers before turning the guns on themselves. The final death count in this tragic portion of school violence was 15. Another school shooting took place 13 years later on April 2nd, 2012. From FoxNews.com, one Goa, a 43-year-old student at Oikos University, a Christian school located in Oakland, California, and populated by mostly Korean and Korean Americans, opened fire on the campus, killing 7 people and wounding several others. Every day, 12 children lose their lives to gun violence. With tragedy comes post-painful times. Tragedies like public and school shootings can affect people in drastic ways. It can tear them apart or bring them closer together. Many of the students involved have the typical feeling of grief, shock, confusion, and pain. Many issues have been argued on how to cope with this violence. For example, without warning, newscasters flash across the screen of your local radio station that a student has gone on a shooting spree at the local school. With this, an upset and worried parent phones the school. Well, the lines are tied up. In panic, they race to the school. However, the roads are blocked by other parents with the same idea. The Internet Safety 101 website states school district and towns have come up with a crisis management plan in an emergency situation. Excuse me. The largest problems with these offenders is how do we deal with them? What kinds of laws should be enforced? enforced and how strictly should they be enforced? If young people start making adult-type decisions, there should be adult-type consequences. Enforcement issues have been controversial with parents, teachers, and students. Some are thought to be too strict, and some are thought to be too casual. An example, if a CD has explicit lyrics, it's going to have a parental advisory explicit lyrics warning label on the front. And be mandatory that the person purchasing the CD is 18 years or older. Television shows have also a parental advisory. They appear in the left upper hand corner of the television before a program starts. Zero tolerance has also been implemented out of federal drug enforcement policies in the 1980s. By 1993, all states across the U.S. had adopted this policy, referring to policies that punish all offenses severely, no matter how minor. Many families have begun to practice better family relations. Moms and dads have set a family night to eat dinner, play games, and find out what's going on in each other's lives. All we can do is offer these programs and hope for the best. We cannot by any means force any parent or child to do what we think they should do unless they are our own child. Children used to feel wanted and loved and act maturely and in an orderly manner, leaving out the violence. Although the erosion of the social structure is directly related to school violence and has reached epidemic proportions, there are ways that society is attempting to keep it under control. Parental advisory warnings, zero tolerance, and role modeling, which is the most powerful form of teaching, even as it was when Aristotle crystallized the idea for the students in ancient Greece. The soul never thinks without a picture. Thank you. My audience.